I want first-time buyers to dream bigger, to see possibilities and see what is possible to increase value.
Because I made a lot of mistakes, so many mistakes that I wish I had known all the stuff you've been teaching on your podcast. And I would say this, Abigail, that the garage was the giveaway.
When I came into your property, I saw a livable outbuilding, and I'm like, I just went crazy because I'm like, oh my god, someone has done it. Someone has done something I just imagined.
You saw the glory days. So the council had interest. Remember I said this, the council have got interest in every stage of the building because you're going to habit somebody. Someone's going to sleep under that premise. If it was just an office, they probably wouldn't care.
How much did it cost you? And if you can let us know how much more value your house has now because of that project. Okay guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Abigail. Today I have a very interesting conversation that I wanted to bring to you guys. I've been trying to plan this for quite a while. It is with a gentleman who has made a killing in property. But because I'm so focused on trying to get people who are trying to buy their first home to get it right, I found out that he had made, what do you call it? Garden home, garden studio.
Call it an outbuilding.
An outbuilding. So I visited his home and he had in his garden an outbuilding which is a livable space. And I was like, I did not see this coming. And I said to myself, I need to get this guy on the podcast to explain how he made this happen, because I have attempted to do something in property and I know how difficult it is to make such things happen here in the UK. So without much ado, I'm going to introduce you to Ernest. Hello, Ernest. Welcome to the channel today.
Great to be here. Thank you.
It was amazing meeting you. Amazing seeing what you're doing in property here in the UK. We're not going to go through all the stuff you've done. We're just going to focus on your home and how you've been able to maximize the value of your home. I want first-time buyers to dream bigger, to see possibilities and not just get on the smallest, get the smallest property to start the property ladder, but see what is possible to increase value. So I'll get him to introduce himself, whatever he wants you guys to know, and then we'll get into the conversation, talk about all the things we need to know to be able to create value in your own property. So introduce yourself.
Excellent. Cheers, Abigail, once again. Well, it's great to be here. Thanks for all the great things you've been doing. I think I've been following you for about a while now.
Well, since I started.
And I have been in love with all the stuff you're doing. So it was great to, receive the invitation, and sorry for all the delays. I know that it was meant to happen. I'm here now, so that's the most important thing. So for me, I have been a property enthusiast for nearly 15 years now.
Yeah.
Right here in the UK, and I think at some point I thought that I wanted to do this as a full-time thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't too sure because I had conflicting interests. I work as a programmer for about 20 years, been doing a lot of coding. But property has always been my baby, so I had that soft spot for it, and I thought I should exploit it, at some point, sooner than later. So I think about 12 years ago when I bought my first property, and it was an eye-opener. Because I made a lot of mistakes, so many mistakes that I wish I had known all the stuff you've been teaching on your podcast.
Oh, I
at
wish.
The time.
I wish I knew it before I bought property myself.
Yes.
So you bought a property before the one you're living in now?
Yes, absolutely, yes. That was our first property. It was a 2-bed maisonette, not far from where we currently reside. But it was I think it served its purpose.
Yeah.
But I wish I had known a lot of things before at the time.
Yeah.
If I did, then I would have made some great gains in terms of value for what the property was meant to offer us.
Yeah.
But it did serve as well, I would say.
Yeah.
The current property, again, it was one thing that myself and my partner, my wife, we loved. Instantly when we saw it, it was great. It ticked most of the boxes for us.
Yeah. So what were your boxes when you're looking at you're looking for that property?
Yes, great. So we were looking at accessibility to the kids' schools. We were looking at space was a key thing because we had a bigger family size, then, and then obviously we're looking at also the value of the property in terms of how much value you can gain over the years, because location is important in the property industry.
Yes.
If you have the right location, you can make a lot more.
Yes.
So think about owning a property in London via versus owning the property 4 miles or 4 hours away from London. So we thought about that. So it was one of the key things. And of course, one other thing was also the cost of maintenance. And we saw this property and it was like, oh, look at this one here. And we had seen so many other properties. But that particular one seemed to have caught our eyes a lot. Instantly, both of us fell in love with it.
So how many bedrooms was it?
So it was a 4-bed.
Okay.
At the time we saw it, it was advertised for 4-bed, and it was a 4-bed.
Okay.
You know, it was, yeah.
Did it have a garage? Did it have other things, other cute things to have when it comes to property?
Great question. And I would say this, Abigail, that the garage was the giveaway.
Okay.
For us, it was one of the key features of the property that made us say, yes, this has to be it. Okay. Because we had like a little side hustle, we were running a family business.
Yeah.
And we needed that extra space
yeah.
to host the stuff we rent out.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to do a free promo on your podcast, but yes, we'll talk about it later on at some point. You know, so it was like, yes, this is a very useful space. It was a very abandoned. I'm sure you'll see the pictures very soon. You see the videos very soon.
Yeah.
It was very well abandoned. It was almost like an eyesore.
When you saw that out
yes,
space,
but my wife and I looked beyond that. You know, we looked beyond to the ugly side, and we thought this has got potential.
Yeah.
So one of the key things that we looked at was also potential. How much? What can we do with the property as an office? You know, it has so much space around the property and at the back, decent garden space as well.
Yeah.
So yes, that was it. That was the bit that was also the check boxes. You know, as you ask, and then we fell in love with it. You know, we got it.
Okay.
Went through the process, and of course we moved in. It was sweat because we really wanted it. So yeah, it was a quick one.
I see. So it's got a garden.
It's got a garden.
And then it's got the backspace you're mentioning,
it's got outbuilding.
which
yes.
at that point you're like, outbuilding has potential.
Yeah.
So was this garage that you're mentioning at the front or at the back of the property?
Well, it's at the back.
Okay.
And coincidentally, it was a very well strategically positioned.
Mm-hmm.
I would say this because right at the back is the communal area, which gives you access to the back of the house, the other property. So it's like an outdoor external communal area.
Yeah.
From which you can go through the.
So you drive through.
You can actually drive through to the garage.
Right.
That's
so the front of the house does not have a garage. It's got like a small driveway.
It's just a driveway for 2 cars.
Okay.
Yes, but the back is where the garage is.
Technically, when you bought it had 3 parking spots.
So
2 in front, 1 at the back.
1 at the back, yes, but it's at the back of the building, so you don't really want to park your car there at all. You only go there for like gardening work and stuff like that, But then it's still space for access, communal access, so you can still park your car there if you were desperate. The front space had so much parking slots, so you can park free on the road. So it really didn't need the garage space for anything at all. Okay. But we looked at what the actual garage could offer. Than the actual parking space. Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So now I come to what I saw. So when I came into your property, I saw a livable outbuilding. And I'm like, I just went crazy because I'm like, oh my God, someone has done it. Someone has done something I just imagined.
You saw the glory days.
Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, at what point did you say to yourself, I'm going to turn this into a livable outbuilding?
Yes. Great question. Great question. I mean, it's $1 million question because for us, that was the center of the potential we saw.
Yeah.
It was the bit that was going to change the game for us, as long as that property was concerned. When we thought of the space, we knew that it was going to service our business.
Yeah.
But at some point, we realized that it was serving a purpose, but it has so much potential, a lot more potential than it was serving us at the time.
Yeah.
So, I thought, look, let's look at this as a proper, opportunity to add value to the property.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking commercial, we were thinking just value addition to the property.
Yeah.
But instinctively we thought, let's just do something to add a bit more value to the property. So we did our homework, did our research, knocked on doors, and then we realized that it's actually doable. But my wife and I thought, look, we need to do the right thing. Yeah. And this day and age, you can get a lot of advice from different places, and sometimes you may just get a wrong one that will just get into hot waters.
Yeah.
So we felt we should go through the front door and do the right thing.
Yeah.
We loved the idea of having an outbuilding, add value to the property, but we wanted to make sure that we did it right.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I explored the portal of our council. So every council or borough would have their own portal.
That is a first gem.
That is the bit that you had to love. Because if you want to do the right thing, you need to go to those places because they'll give you everything you need to know as long as you're a homeowner. A homeowner is concerned. You would have to
So this is you looking at the council's portal to see what has been done? Or is it informing them that you want to do it?
So I looked at it. So first of all, I know I want to do this. And I also know I'm very convinced that we want to do it right.
Yeah.
So to do it right, you must get the right information. The only place you get the right information is the council. Of course, you can get people to advise you, and expert advice and all of that. But we felt that the most original source of information, reliable source of info is right on the council's laws, because they manage the local communities. So we had to go there, and then I spent tons of time always to try to understand what they want, what you need to do to get the permit to do the thing.
What you want to do.
That was the number one thing I did. So looked at all the portal, all the articles and the materials they provided on there, and I knew exactly which one I wanted, because they are quite good. I mean, I would say that's one thing I give away to the councils. They're quite good at what they want. They don't leave. Yes, they documented every detail that you need to know, what you need to do, when you need to do that, and how to go about it. So we knew that we needed to apply. So one of the links on their portal will tell you have, if you knowing what you want. We knew that we want to convert an outbuilding into a habitable space. There is a particular link for it. There will be a particular form to complete. There's no such thing as free lunch. So the council will always get something from you, right?
You pay for that.
You have to pay for it. Yes. How much was it? It wouldn't cost you a fortune. Definitely wouldn't break the bank for that. But I think
less than 1,000.
It will be about that. Okay. Yeah, it will be about that. Not too bad. Maybe a little bit. I think it was about 1,000. I would say about £1,000. Yeah. Now I don't know, but it will be about £1,000 maybe. So we applied, and you had to wait for a while to get them to contact you. That is one of the downsides. The councils can slow you down sometimes, right? Yeah. But as soon as they get your attention, you will have it for a while until the project is completed. Yeah. So we got it, applied it, and then they gave the nod. And at this point in time, I'm thinking, okay, I'm not a builder, I'm a programmer.
Yeah.
So I can't build. I need to find someone to do the job, the actual job, right? So this is when I started looking around. Did my digging, consulted a few people here and there, and then I scoped, prices. People. I had about 3 different builders who came to give me, quotes.
Yeah.
And then there was one gen who stood up. Why did I go with him particularly? Because I think he gave me the sense of flexibility, and I love to work flexibly. With a little bit of knowledge in construction work, I knew I could manage certain aspects of the project. Yeah. So at this point in time, I'm thinking, should I go for the guy who's going to do everything for me, or can I just risk and do some of the things myself? I thought, okay, if you got the knowledge in some areas, why can't you reduce costs? Because once you outsource everything to them, the bill will go up.
Yes.
Okay, naturally it will go up. But then if you can manage certain things, aspects yourself, then it means that you can reduce the cost breakdown.
And the advantage I see here is that you live there already.
Yes.
So I've done a project recently, but it was 50 miles away from me.
That's
so
great.
I could see the benefit of it being in my backyard and me saying, what's going on today? Has the cement come in? Has the sand come in?
That's right.
Compared to you need to project manage everything when it's 50 miles away. So I can see the proper advantage there, and if you can get the chance to be flexible and chip in yourself to reduce your costs,
it was the biggest blessing, because I took a risk to go for some guy who was good at what he does, but probably not the top-notch guy. Okay, so it was a bit of a risk. So being there was a blessing, because if I wasn't around and he was just doing his own thing, I could have got him myself. Maybe at some point in this chat we will talk about that, some of the hitches and the challenges we had with him. But then at the end of the day, we knew that it was a big risk, because he was not, I would say, the top guy in terms of dev. Okay, he's done some projects. You can see they are very lovely and all of that. He's a cool dude. I like him to bits because he's quite humble. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be paying him, but I also don't want to get just cheap labor. I don't want to get cheap labor and then get surely job done.
Yeah.
So I had to compromise on certain aspects. So for me, our choice was, I'm right there. So if anything's falling apart, I can see it and fix it there and then.
Yeah.
So I could risk it because I live there. Okay.
Did you pay him money stages ahead of time, or will he do the job and then you pay him?
Excellent question. So every builder would always ask for mobilization. It's with all projects of this nature, all capital projects, you have to get that mobilization. So he needed something to push him into it. So I gave him a cushion. I think it was about a quarter.
Okay.
A quarter to get some materials on site, and also to pay some of the laborers he would employ.
Yeah.
So yes, I gave him a little bit, but it was gonna be it was broken down into phase. I do a lot of project management, so I could actually phase the project, certain stages. So look, you're gonna have this at this point in time, and when you've delivered it, then we can sit down with you. Then I can release that to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing. So let's talk about did you need an architect? Do you need to plan the thing out, have it on paper? Where does the wiring go? Where does the plumbing go? Who put all that together?
You will need that. The council will not approve anything you do until you've gotten architectural and then the engineering drawings.
Okay.
So that has to be done. Even if it's just like a little cubicle, the council will need those stuff.
So this was done by a professional
architect.
Yes,
that's right.
Literally a box.
That's right. It's just a space, small space, but you need to get an architect to do all of those things and do the architectural drawings and do all the engineering stuff. Yeah, you need to get all those things done.
Did you need to do any testing? So like testing of the soil, testing like to put a property that's livable on another part that wasn't initially meant to be livable?
No, not entirely. I didn't have to do that. But I think if I was to do maybe a story building, then I probably would have had to do it. Now have this in mind that almost all properties can have outbuildings up to about 1 story level, no more than that.
Oh, okay.
No more than that.
Okay.
So if I was to do that, maybe I probably had to do it. But for the position of the building itself, it wasn't a requirement at the time.
Okay.
It wasn't a requirement at all.
Okay, that's good to know. Now I want us to talk about one of the questions I've got the most when it comes to outbuildings. Electricity, water, plumbing. Most people have outbuilding as offices because they are like, we couldn't connect water, we couldn't connect gas. How did you manage to connect electricity, water, and gas from your main building to the outbuilding? How did you manage the meterage? How did you, let's go into that minefield.
Yeah, thanks some people for that. Look, the heart has to lead.
Okay.
Your heart has to lead because it's something you're doing which can go wrong badly if you don't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that for the reason, the main reason why we got that property was also to help us have family over when we have visitors. I had my mom in mind, so I knew that at some point she would come and stay with us for a while, and so I had to make sure that space could comfortably host her. Yeah. So you can't go wrong with electricity. You cannot go wrong with your heating in the winter time. You can definitely not go wrong with the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we did all the scoping, and I had the builder give me the bring in experts to come and do the layout. Okay, they did the layout, and of course this was not done in isolation of the council. I don't know if you're gonna talk about this into detail, and so how the whole building was constructed in phases. But if we are going to do it, I'll probably talk about this as well.
No, I would love you to.
The council have got interest in every phase of the project.
So this part is what building control.
Yes, they will come in there. They will come in and see how deep you're digging for the actual plumbing work, electrical connections. They will need to know that. So all the pipes connecting. So have this in mind. The outbuilding is at the back of the property.
Yeah.
And the main building is at the front.
Yeah.
So for my end, this property I think is roughly about between 15 and 20 meters space from the main building to the outbuilding.
Yeah.
So that distance, it's a big one.
Yeah.
So you need to get it right because it's going to affect the pressure of the main building. It's going to, a lot of things can go wrong.
Yeah.
So here, the council, the officers, the building inspectors are interested in how deep the thing go. And I remember one time when the laborers came to do the digging, we had a little backhoe machine coming in to do the digging for us.
Yeah.
And they dug it and, they came to inspect it.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, that is not good enough. You need to go a bit deeper.
Whoa.
And they checked the slope because you must have a gradual, gentle slope into it.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were like, nah, this has to go deeper. And I remember having an issue with the builder because he had to bring in the extra guy. The guy.
Because you should have known.
He's charged him, he's gone. You're saying it again. So all of those things were, some of the challenges. But in the end, they managed to give us the exact sloping, the depths and everything else that was needed to connect the main building to the outbuilding to the main building. So long as the electricity, the gas, and then the plumbing, sewage was concerned. Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did you have to involve the suppliers or the distribution network for electricity, water?
No, not at all. Because from the main building, we didn't have to do any of those. This was a strategy we adopted. Yeah. So you could have actually built it such that you could cut off the main building from the outbuilding. But we felt this is a family setup. So it's if it is like if you're doing a proper commercial thing, then you may want to consider that, because then that means the outbuilding is not dependent on the main building. Then
so
you
it has
have
its
to
own meters.
exactly. So we use the same main building's meter, everything else, connected to the outbuilding. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you want to delve deeper into?
Oh boy, yes.
Let's like an overview: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, until you are like, oh my god, I don't have to deal with anyone apart from me and my family.
Yes. So, like I said, we structured the whole project in phases.
Yeah.
So phase 1 was for us getting the drawings and everything else approved by the council, and then getting the foundation done. That was the eye opener. Back home in Ghana, they call it something German foundation. What was it? German concrete, or how do they call it? Is it German concrete or something? They call that in Ghana. I know the builders use that a lot. It's German concrete or German foundation, something like that.
Yeah.
Where they just do like half an inch and it's ready to be built on.
Yeah.
They just did the trenches for like This
is the foundation.
Foundation. So the contractor began the project, dug it, got the laborers in, they dug, their trenches, ready to erect the blocks.
Yeah.
And I think they have done well. I think they have gone about half a meter, or maybe about 70 centimeters, which is about 0.7 meters. And at this point, they had to invite the inspectors to come in. So the council had interest. Remember I said this, the council have got interest in every stage of the building, because you're going to habit somebody's going to sleep under that premise. If it was just an office, they probably wouldn't care. But so long as you're going to have all the stuff in there as your normal home in it, they need to make sure that it's quite conducive and it's safe to live in. So the structure was very important to them. And trenches are dug. They contact the officers. So what I did was, once I have applied for the permit and the council have authorized and approved, they now are coming in every now and then. At this point, they will let me know they're coming, but the builder also knows they're coming. So once the builder is ready for them to inspect, they contact them, they come in, they check. So this time, foundation dug, they came in and then they're like, nah, not good enough. Not good enough.
But did they give you even guidance on how well it should go?
Yeah. They would always tell you what they want. The council always knows what they want. They always know what they want, right? They will always tell you, look, I wanted this depth, this slope, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They were that detailed. Okay, so they told him, look, you need to go about 50 centimeters more. And he's not having it. You can clearly see he's exhausted his labor cost. Okay.
For them, it's about money, right?
And he's thinking, oh, this is deep enough, because obviously I think they also know it when the ground is solid. And I think it was not a swampy place. It was a hard, ground. So it means that it could comfortably, contain the weight of the building. Yeah. But the authority said, no, you need to go deeper. They wanted to get their depth met, that condition met. So he went deeper. And in the end, he went deeper. And I think they did about 3 different visits for them to agree on a depth that was required. Then they eventually got that before they could start putting in the concrete and bring up the structures, the wall structures of the property.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is the material? Is it just concrete or is it bricks or?
Yeah. So we use blocks. We use building blocks. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we use
so
building
similar
blocks.
to what we do in Ghana.
Yes, very similar. Very similar. Yeah, except that yes, a lot lighter. The ones that are a lot lighter, maybe a little bit smaller, but it's just concrete. I mean, it's blocks, so there will be concrete in there.
Okay, so that's stage 1. Now
that's stage 1. Yes.
You finished foundation. You started.
So we started erecting it. They will come and check every now and then. They went through that bit by bit until they got to the lintel and then the roofing level, and then at this point in time, it was ready to be roofed. The roofing was a whole thing. The whole roof, the roofing, the scrutiny on the roofing was probably even more than the foundation.
Why?
Because you need to use the right fabric, and I think he got the contractor got I think a particular type of insulation, and they rejected it.
Oh my god.
I think there are different types of insulation materials you can use.
Yeah.
And they got in one particular sample and it was rejected. This is the beauty of why I say always go through the front door. If you want to do something like this, don't assume you can do it your own way. Get the right standards, and it's going to be to your own advantage, because if they do it right, whoever lives in there will have the comfort. For me, I knew my mom would be living in at some point, so my heart was leading it. So I thought, let's get it right. You can't have your mom
being cold in the winter.
Absolutely, freezing to death, and if your gas is not working and the room is not well insulated, then it's going to be a problem. So we thought, let's just get it rightly done. And she came in, and the inspectors came in and they did that job for me. I probably would have had a hard time with the contractor if I was doing it all by myself. But because it was a legal requirement, he didn't have any choice.
If the council is saying, I'm sorry, no.
Excellent. It's not
Who
me.
are you?
Exactly. It's not me, right? And at the end of the day, remember I said this, I structured everything in phases, right?
Yes.
The roofing was a phase. If you don't get a roofing done, I'm not giving you
money. Yeah.
So he had no choice but to do the right thing, what the law required.
You know what's so funny to me? Because you would think that because he's a contractor, it's his job. He knows it inside out.
Look, have it in mind, he's a businessman, he's an entrepreneur, that's his trade. So they have ways of getting their raw materials. Right? This is why for me I had to be involved in the whole project. They've got sources, they got merchant accounts, they can get certain things cheap. So if you don't know what you want, then they will get you the cheap stuff at your detriment. So most builders are great. They're good at what they do. They are genuine ones who use the right materials, the best materials for you. Others will use the okay materials.
Yeah.
But then if you are required to use a particular type of material, you can't cut corners. You have to use that. So there's a minimum standard. Don't go below that.
Yeah.
You can meet the minimum requirement. Maybe that's good for you. Some people will want to spend more money for extra comfort and luxury. They will spend a higher, sort of material. Yeah. So it's all entirely up to you, but don't compromise on the actual minimum requirement because that is key. If someone's going to live in the house, then it must meet that condition, which was met. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Amazing. So how long did this take?
Oh yeah. So good question. One of my biggest wahalas, right? Oh boy. So originally we had agreed that he was going to get it done within, was it 6 weeks to 4 maximum?
Okay.
That was the scope of project.
6 weeks to 4 months. 6 to 8 weeks. Sorry. Okay, so that's just weeks. 2 months.
Yes, that's what we agreed.
Okay.
And I made sure that he didn't have any other conflicting projects that he was doing, right? So because I do a lot of project management, I tried to do some of these background checks before I even commit to a contract.
Yeah.
So he was free. He had proven to me he was free. He didn't have any job, so I knew that if he was to stick to plan. For the phases we are structured, then we could do it within 6 weeks or latest 8 weeks.
Yeah.
That was the expectation. We began a project, just to let you guys know, right? We began a project about, I think it was December-ish, thereabout.
Yeah.
And we ended up completing it close to April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 months.
Yeah, nearly 5
months. From 2 months.
Yeah.
And would you say it's because of his work or would you say because the council was involved? What do you think?
I had issues with him.
Yeah.
Later on, he got himself into trouble. I think he underquoted. We had a contract. It was binding. It's not my fault that you underquoted, right? You wanted a contract. You gave me a budget. I also wanted to be involved because I project manage it. And then you said you could do it within a certain budget. We agreed. Yeah. We signed. And then you started your job. But he lost funds. So he had to find a way to get the money to fund the rest of the project because it was in phases. He needs the rest of the money. He won't get out until he's gone through a particular phase. But he hasn't got money to keep his laborers, on site to keep working. Yeah. So he eventually, what he did was he had to find reasons. It was very frustrating for us personally because we knew that we wanted it. Now, have it in mind, you live in a place, the whole place is dark, the garden is messed up. So, I will show you pictures of the garden, how I did the garden myself. Literally built all by myself.
Yeah, I'll be putting the pictures on the screen when we're editing.
And if you saw how it was before, everything, the turf, the earth, everything was messed up when he began the project. Wow. So we all were like, we can't wait for it to be done with, so the kids can play in the garden. And this guy went on to get another contract. So he can make some money.
For the money!
That's right. So that was the key contributing factor to the delays.
Yeah.
He went out to get another contract, compromised on our agreements, and then, was doing his own thing, and it just delayed us. At this point in time, you had to just sit back, take it all in, have a lot of patience, and hope for the best, because you don't want him to abandon the project as well, because your back garden looks very horrible.
No, I really admire what you just said there and sticking to your guns, because first of all, you said contracts.
Yeah.
And I raise a hat for you for saying that.
Very
because you would think that, it's just an outbuilding.
No.
Oh, he said it'll cost this much. Let's just do it. What made you think, let's sign a contract? Give me your quote. Let's stick to it.
Yeah, that's right. It's just about knowing what you want. Because at the end of the day, you're going to be spending a dime. You're going to spend some money, on the project. So you need to protect your interest. The only way you can protect your interest legally is to put pen to paper. Right? So we agreed on things like even the paint, flooring. Before he began the project, we agreed on every little aspect of the project. It was not assumed. There was no assumptions anywhere at all. So you couldn't hide behind anything. And I know how to play my legal cards. Yeah. So if it was to frustrate me legally, I would also, have something to fall on and make sure he does the right thing. So That was a key thing for us, and he knew that. And occasionally when he was laying stuff and doing his own thing, occasionally I would throw a little bit of legal cards on the table and just came a little bit. Next day he would show his face, that sort of thing. It was like that until the whole thing was done.
That's very impressive.
Yeah,
because I think that's one thing that some of us, when we're trying to do a small projects, we don't emphasize on.
Yeah,
and then we always end up being pained when it's like, they left their job, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they asked for more money when it wasn't what we agreed, and you're thinking, why was that not in a contract? Oh, it was just a small project. What would I want to do?
Exactly.
Make it legal and all that stuff. But then you dishing out the cash, you're almost always the one that will get paid.
It's super key. For example, I would get invoiced for every little penny spent. He has to be invoiced. He couldn't take money without providing an invoice to say, look, this is what he's paying me. Because I've said to you like 3 times already, everything was phased out. So it was phase 1, phase 2, phase that sort of thing. So phase 1 had a lot of things, a plethora of things that he had to accomplish. Phase 2 had its own thing. So if you say phase 1 is completed, then you must give me evidence of payment and completion. So the only way you can get that is the invoicing. Everything is spelled out on paper in the contract, but this is to say I have paid you up to that point in time. Don't say, oh, this is outstanding, because there's nothing to show for. That invoice payment shows that we've agreed, you've delivered, I have paid you. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to get into is finances, depending on how comfortable you are.
Yes, let's do that. Let's try and do that.
So, how much did it cost you? When did you do this project?
Oh, this was I think that was about 3 years ago.
Okay, so 2023 is not the same as 2026. So definitely things have changed in terms of fees. So
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So we need to be prepare that in mind when we talk about how much did it cost you, and if you can let us know how much more value your house has now because of that project. Good question.
I mean, ultimately, I did say that potential was one of the key reasons why we're doing it. So we definitely wanted to look at the value addition thing as the ultimate result.
Yeah,
so
your cost should be less than the value.
Exactly. So when we began the project, I think our budget was about 30K.
Yeah.
That was it. But then after doing my own research and analysis, I realized I could get it a lot cheaper.
Okay.
So I have quotes for 40K, 35K. But I think this one we did about 20K.
Wow.
Yes, because I was involved.
No way.
That's right. 20K.
In UK.
That's right. 20K. No more than that. It could be a little bit less actually, but no more than that.
Wow.
Yeah, no more than that. Yes.
Can you tell us which part of the building took the most chunk of the money?
Ooh, okay. So it's a good question, isn't it? That I would probably say the finishing. Finishing, because obviously we involve things like kitchenette, the tiling, the flooring, and all of those things in it. That was part of it, but labor. I mean, obviously he's a skilled person, a tradesman.
Yeah.
He's costing, everything is factored in, so he's making a lot of money from that. That took a lot of the money. Because I phased that, I think every phase was important. I think it was evenly spread out. So we had about 5K or so every phase, roughly about that sort of margin. So it was evenly spaced out. But if you're looking at it into detail, labor would have taken a lot of money. And of course, labor would take a lot of money. And the later part of the project was quite expensive.
When I saw it, in my mind, I was like 50K.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people have said that actually.
I'm not building castles in the air.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of people have said that to me. So, but remember I said to you that because I knew what we wanted. So once you know what you want and you understand the game, you can mitigate some of the cost. Because if you are novice in the industry or the business and you just give everything to somebody, you would accept 50K. They will do it really nice for you, but to be honest with you, there are some bits I wish I could have done it better, or he could have done it better. But the pros and cons, the pros far outweighs the cons. It's stuff you can live by. They're not showstoppers. So I don't know that I still think I've gotten value for money. For example, the rendering. The rendering is plastering, right? So you have the block work done, you have to render it, do the plastering and all of that. I think if I was to give that out on his own as a contract on his own, I would have spent more than that. But within this contract, I was able to save about 40% of the usual cost. So you see how you gain it, and the whole breaking down of stuff, even when you're doing the tunneling, connecting the main building to the outbuilding, that whole trench digging. If you were to give it out to a proper contract, you're going to spend close to about 2K. But actually, I think we got it done, delivered within about £700.
Wow.
So all of those factors contributed to the deal I got. But that was only because I was heavily involved in every phase of the project. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. And would you say How much more value did it add to?
Oh yeah, the value bit, yeah, which is the best part. I think currently that property alone on its own, if you were to sell it, like, or give it out, it's a studio apartment.
Yeah.
If you were to go into commercialize fully, I think it will probably minimum about 50 to 60K value added easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Because it's his 1-bedroom studio.
It is.
And I'll be showing pictures of it on the screen so you guys can see. It's got a kitchenette.
It's got a little kitchenette space.
It's got a bathroom. It's got the living room. Bedroom.
That's it. One little big space. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got access to the garden as well, so you got your own little space if you wanted to. Yeah. And the best part of it is that you can have your own space out if you don't.
And you can also enter from a different entrance, the back entrance. So then whoever's living there can have their own privacy.
They wanted to have their own thing. They can.
And I know you mentioned that you didn't want to commercialize it, so you're not using it for Airbnb or anything of the sort.
No, it was more for family. Yeah.
For our audience, if they are thinking of, I want to commercialize this, I want to use it for Airbnb.
Yeah.
I want to use it to rent it out as a studio.
Yeah.
What further process would they have gone through with the council?
Great question. It will be the same place I started. Just going to the council's portal, looking at what they've offered. So what I chose was a space for family extension, basically, just to have an extra space for my family. So if you wanted to commercialize, you will definitely have a link that says for commercial activity, right? You can go for that. But then again, it won't be cheap. If you're doing commercial, it'll be more than if you're just doing domestic, right?
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of other requirements you have to do, fire security checks, those flood controls, a lot of things you have to put in place if you're doing commercial stuff, right?
You have to like have a different council.
You have to apply for different permits.
Council tax
you
permits
have to go through all of that. Yes, you have to go through all of that. Yes, the council will not authorize anything commercial in a residential area. If you need to do that, there will be a different route for it.
Because what I'm advocating for now to first-time buyers who are watching me is that every building, not every building, most buildings have potential.
Yes.
And it's better, to have a bigger building, maybe a smaller deposit, but the potential is so high that as you're building your equity in it, you can get the chance to increase the value of the property. Because a lady reached out to me on TikTok and was saying, should she buy a smaller property so she can pay it off earlier, or should she go for a bigger one? And I'm like, it depends on where your mind's at. Depends on your current needs. Because you could buy the smaller one, and before you know it, you're like, my family doesn't fit here anymore. We need a bigger property. And that is a transaction. Lawyers will come in, mortgage brokers will come in. They'll all take some of the money you've gained in that particular property. But if you have, it gets up to 10% of the property, but you're able to get on that ladder and you can stick to that property for the longest time and increase the value. You're way better off doing that. And also now, you are able to somewhat, because the government allows the rent-a-room scheme.
Yes.
So it is a room that you can rent.
That's right.
You can make £7,500 tax-free.
Yep.
All you know is, in my mind, the person uses the back door to get in. The person never says good morning or good afternoon to me. My family is in here and protected. I'm getting the best of both worlds. And those are the kind of potential I want first-time buyers in our community to think about when they think of getting on the property ladder.
Absolutely. Well, actually, that's a good point, isn't it, Abigail? And I think that sort of brings in mind one key thing I need to say. So if you're going, remember I said this, that for me, for us, our intention was to go just create a small space for the family, right? Now, if you want to go commercial, you need to plan things out really well. The last thing you want is to have someone renting, officially renting your property and knocking at your doors because electricity is not connected, gas is not working, and they want access to pick up letters and all of that. So think about all of those things. If you really want your peace of mind, then think about that. If you want to go that route, probably the best thing is to create your own metering system. Right? Make sure that everything's isolated. If you want to go full commercial, make sure that it's not connected to your main building.
But that will increase the cost.
It would. If you are sleeping in bed, let's say at 4 a.m. and your tenant calls you and says the gas is not working, the heating is not working, your comfort is being jeopardized there. So think about that very, very well. For us, we knew it was for commercial, for domestic purpose, so we could comfortably rely on one metering system. The same source of heating, the same sort of water, the same sort of drainage and sewage. All of that was key. So have that in mind. Really important.
Okay. I think I've exhausted most of the questions I have for you. Is there any other part of this project or this outbuilding that we are excited about that you think we need to know?
Yeah, I think so. I think the drainage system. I think I didn't touch on that. Let me add a little. So the drainage system, key, like, oh my goodness, like you cannot get that wrong.
Oh, so like water draining away, like the bathroom and stuff.
Yeah. So have it in mind, it's a studio apartment, right? So you got your loo in there, you got your shower in there.
Yeah.
Look at that roof, right? There's gonna be water coming out from the roof. You got gutters around it. Where is that? Where is all that water going to? So that was one of the key things.
I would never have thought of that.
Yeah, that's one of the key things. The councils were like, oh no, you need to slope it a little bit more. Like, the depth of the chamber, there's a suck away somewhere in the garden. You'll never see it. It's all covered up now. But that is where it all ends up. The other drainage, the drainage from the outbuilding ends up in the same sewage as the main building. So it means that you need to have the right slope. Key interest to the council inspectors. They will always want to make sure that it is going at the right slope and is entering into the chamber, the final bit that goes all the way down into the national exit, the main community drainage system. It is done properly. So that is something you cannot compromise on. Because if you do compromise on that, bear in mind when the spring and the rains begin to hit the grounds, you're going to have some potential flooding situation happening. It can happen. So make sure that you've gone really deep. You've got the right materials down there to absorb the water, and make sure that your drainage you're using the right pipes, the right materials to connect back. Else you're gonna have leakages, and that will be messy. If your place is stinking because you're not done, it will be a problem for you and the community.
So interesting.
And the last thing I need to say as well is super important. Okay, this system here allows people to be a community. Okay, the UK people are nice people. Largely, they're nice people. The last thing you want to be a nuisance to your community, your neighbor.
Yes.
So if you're going to do a project of this nature, you need to not let them know that you want to do this, right?
Okay.
So put a little note. Look, on that date we want to start project for that. We expect it would be 6 months, or not 6 months, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, or whenever.
Yeah.
Let them know. Prepare their minds. Guess what? If you don't do this, they will let the council know. In fact, the first time you hit the ground, someone will let the council know we're getting noise from somewhere and we think they're doing something. But as soon as you let them know, as soon as you let them know, the council probably will write notes to the neighbors and let them know that this is going to be happening, you should expect this. So that sort of protects you and your neighbors.
That actually reminds me of one question I need to ask you. So I know I've gone to get planning for something before, and I had to put up a poster for people to go and comment on whether they want this to happen or not. Did you have to do something
No, I didn't do that. I sent notice, so you could do that as well. I just literally went. I have a really good relationship with my neighbors, so I just did the notices to them, like, look, we're going to be doing this, blah 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 blah. And I had a feeling the council could also do their own thing, but for me, I felt I had to take it into my own hands and
it's better you take it into your own hands and sort it out before they find out and they're like, oh, we're going to report him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
This has been an amazing conversation,
Same
and
here,
I'm
enjoyed
so
it.
glad I got the chance to
Finally.
dig into it. Because you should have seen my face, the face I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, somebody has done it. And we thank God for making it happening, and we thank you for having the guts,
Thank
the
you.
grit.
It was a tricky one. It was
go through it.
It was one of the smallest projects I've done my whole life. But for me, I think the scrutiny, the interest, and all of that, the whole process, the frustration, from the builder also, taught me a lot of things.
Did you regret it at some point? In there?
I wouldn't say regret. For me, I think I love to manage my expectations, so I always leave room for failures. So I mean, it was a bit of settling at some point because the kids want to play the garden and it was not ready. You want to get remember, this is like December to April, right? Yeah. So that's like spring. This is when you want your grass to be in a minty condition, ready for summer, which is like 2 months away. So all of the delays was frustrating. The kids were like, "Oh, Daddy, when are we gonna go back into the garden?" I'm like, "You wait, your time will come." That was the bit that got to me, but I think in the end we got it right. And the most exciting part of it all was like when I got the room done, painting done, finished, beds, everything in. Shower working,
like someone can sleep here.
Exactly. And then luckily for me, one of my friends came from Ghana, and Fred, I don't know if you're gonna watch it, but Fred came in and
Please send the video to him.
Yes, and he was the first, host,
Host
he stayed in there. Yeah, that's right. He just, stayed there, for the holiday. He came for a holiday with his wife, and they had a really good time there.
Yeah.
And he proved to me that it was a very habitable space. They loved it there.
Yes.
So when you see the before and after pictures, anytime I see before and after pictures, maybe you guys will see it.
Yeah.
It is like one of the biggest things. It puts a smile on my face because, like I said earlier on, it looked like a dejected place. It was completely abandoned, lot of cobwebs. It was terrazzo walls. It was like really horrible. And all it could do was just wasting and dusting itself away. And then now it became a habitable space where someone can put their head and enjoy their lives.
So and how big is it?
Good question. So it's about normal standard garage size. So it's about 7 feet by about maybe 15 or so, thereabout.
Okay.
Yeah, 7 by 15 feet, thereabout.
Lovely.
Yeah.
It's been amazing
having
you on the channel. And
thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad this happened. And yeah, guys,
if you loved it, give me the thumbs up.
Please give us a thumbs up if we're doing the work of the Lord for you. Please let us know. And whatever you want us to keep discussing, I will try and find the right people to come on here to help you guys who are trying to buy your first property in the UK to make the right decision.
Excellent stuff.
It's been Abigail. Catch you later.
Cheers, guys.